Now I want to find the slope of a line through 2 points. It's important that we understand lines can have one of 4 slopes. Slope is usually noted by the letter M. M is positive. Notice this is going uphill. M is negative. It's going downhill. M equals 0. It's a horizontal line. And finally, there's no slope, a vertical line. This causes a problem for things, and we're going to see the algebra and number problems that we run into as we try to find no slope. The slope formula for 2 given points, if we call them x1, y1 and x2, y2, is given by the formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is actually the change in the y value divided by the change in the x value. A symbol used in higher mathematics stands for change, and it's a little delta. So delta y means change in y. Delta x means change in x. Let's see if we can find the slope of 2 points, and then look at the graph and see what happens. If we have -2, 4, and 6, 0, if we use our formula, we subtract the y's. So this is our first point. We'll call this x1, y1. We'll call this x2, the x-coordinate of the second point, y2. So we take m equals the y2, 0, minus, in parentheses, the y1, which is 4, divided by x2, which is 6, minus, in parentheses, x1, which is -2. The parentheses ensure that we won't make a careless mistake with negatives. So we have 0 minus 4 is -4. 6 minus -2 is the same as 6 plus 2 gives us 8. So -4 divided by 8, so we have a slope here of -1/2. Now if we plot the points -2, 4, notice each space here for x stands for 2 and each space on the y stands for 2. -2, 4, and 6, 0. So the line looks like this. We have a negative slope. Notice it's going downhill like we expect. Let's consider the points 3, -4 and 9, -4. Once again, we're going to use our slope formula. M equals, and this is our x sub 1 and this is our y sub 1. This is our x sub 2, y sub 2. We could actually label these backwards, but there's no great advantage in doing that. So we take the second y minus the first y divided by the second x minus the first x. 9 minus 3 is 6. -4, subtracting a -4 is the same as adding 4, gives us 0. So if we get the slope is equal to 0, and if we plot the 2 points over 3 down 4, notice each x space is worth 3 and each y is 2. And if we draw the line, it is in fact a horizontal line with slope equal to 0. Next, let's consider -1, -1, and 3, 1. So if we use our slope formula, this is going to be our x1, this is our y1, 3 is our second x, 1 is our second y. So we take the second y minus our first y divided by our second x minus our first x using parentheses. Subtracting -1 is the same as adding 1, so we have 2. Subtracting 1 is adding 1, 4, so we're left with a +1/2 is our slope here. If we plot the point -1, -1, over 1 down 1, 3, 1, over 3 and up 1, and we connect the dots here, notice that the line is going uphill. We have a positive slope is what we expect. In our last scenario, 3, -3, and 3, 2. Applying our slope formula, this is our x sub 1, this is our first y, this is our second x, this is our second y. Take the second y minus first y divided by our second x minus our first x. So we have 5, 3 minus 3 is 0. Wait a minute, we have a little problem. What is the value of 5 over 0? Actually, if you put it in your calculator, you'll get an error term because the answer is undefined. Let's look at the graph and see why this happens. If we plot 3, -3, over 3 down 3, and 3, 2, turns out we wind up with a vertical line. And this has an undefined slope or no slope. And that's why mathematicians don't like vertical lines.